Before you do anything else today, before you check your phone, before you scroll through social media, before you let distractions hijack your mind, I need you to pause right here, right now, and lean in. Because what I'm about to give you is not just another motivational speech. This is not some cute morning routine. This is your spiritual warfare strategy. This is your divine ignition switch. This is how you wake up and command the day with authority, with faith, and with expectation. You've spent too many mornings waking up reacting to life, letting fear, anxiety, and frustration set the tone for your day. But from this day forward, you wake up on assignment. You wake up with spiritual power. You wake up and let the enemy know, I didn't wake up to play. I woke up to win. These 7 powerful prayers are designed to fuel your spirit, charge your mindset, and unlock the supernatural flow of favor, focus, protection, boldness, opportunity, overflow, and impact. So if you're serious about shifting your morning, if you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, lock in and let's go start your day with gratitude, unlock the flow of blessings. Gratitude is not just a feeling. Gratitude is a force. It's a spiritual multiplier. It's the master key that unlocks more of what you're praying for. When you wake up and the first words out of your mouth are thank you, God, you're not just expressing appreciation, you're activating the supernatural law of increase. Heaven responds to gratitude. Favor responds to gratitude. Opportunities are magnetized toward a grateful heart. Most people start their day rehearsing their problem. They open their eyes, grab their phone, scroll through notifications, check emails, and immediately start reacting to the world. But when you wake up with gratitude, you take control of the atmosphere. You shift the energy. You let God know that you're not entitled, you're entrusted. There's a difference. Entitlement complains, trust responds with thanksgiving. When you say, thank you for waking me up this morning, you're acknowledging that breath is a blessing, that life is a gift, that today is a new chance to do something powerful, purposeful, and profitable for the kingdom. God responds to gratitude like a magnet responds to metal. It attracts more of what you're thanking him for. If you want God to give you more, start thanking him for what you already have. Stop cursing your current season and start blessing it. Because what you fail to honor, you disqualify yourself from receiving. Again, some people wonder why their prayers feel blocked, why their breakthroughs seem delayed, why nothing seems to be moving. It's not always the devil. Sometimes it's an ungrateful heart. God doesn't pour into vessels that leak through complaining. Gratitude is spiritual currency. Every thank you you give builds your spiritual account. It increases your capacity to receive. It enlarges your heart to handle more. Because here's the truth. If you're not thankful for the little, you'll never be trusted with the much. When you wake up and say, Lord, I thank you for my health, you're putting a demand on heaven to preserve it. When you say, thank you for my family, you're placing a hedge of honor and protection around them. When you say, thank you for my business, my job, my ideas, my opportunities, you're blessing the work of your hands before you even clock in. You want financial overflow? Start by thanking God for the dollars you already have. You want healing? Start thanking God that your body is still moving and functioning. You want more influence? Thank God for the impact you've already made. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into supernatural launching pads. That cup of coffee you're sipping, thank God for it. That sunlight breaking through your window, thank God for it. The ability to hear this message right now, thank God for it. Because here's what happens. When you stay in gratitude, your spirit stays lifted. And when your spirit stays lifted, your faith stays strong. And when your faith stays strong, your results become undeniable. Gratitude changes your language. Instead of saying, I have to go to work, you start saying, I get to go to work. Instead of saying, I'm stuck in traffic, you say, thank you, Lord, that I have a car to drive. Instead of saying, I don't have enough clients, you say, thank you, Lord, for the clients I do have and for the ones on the way. Gratitude activates creative ideas. It sharpens your mind. It opens your eyes to resources that were already around you, but you were too busy complaining to notice. It makes you resourceful. It makes you solution fulcrum. It makes you magnetic to people who want to help you. When you give thanks, you're aligning yourself with abundance, because lack speaks the language of fear, but gratitude speaks the language of faith. Lack says it's not enough. Gratitude says God is more than enough. Every successful person you admire, whether in business, ministry, leadership, or life, they all practice gratitude. It's not a coincidence. It's a principle. It's a law. It works for those who work it. Even Jesus, before performing miracles, gave thanks. Before multiplying the loaves and fishes, he gave thanks. Before raising Lazarus from the dead, he gave thanks. If gratitude was the prelude to the miraculous for Jesus, what makes you think you can skip it? When you start your day with gratitude, you're telling the enemy, you don't control my mood. You don't dictate my attitude. My joy is not circumstantial. My praise is not negotiable. Gratitude releases joy. Joy strengthens your spirit, and a strong spirit sustains you through every storm. If you're tired of starting your days frustrated, tired, drained, then make a decision right now. The first words out of your mouth every morning will be words of thanksgiving. Before you check your phone, check your heart. Before you scroll social media, scroll through your blessings. Before you ask God for more, thank him for what you already have. Gratitude isn't optional for people who want to live a life of overflow. It's the access point. It's the gateway to greater. Align your mindset with God's purpose. Move in divine authority. Alignment is everything. It's the difference between wasted energy and focused power. It's the difference between grinding and flowing. It's the difference between trying to make things happen and watching God orchestrate things on your behalf. You weren't created to hustle aimlessly through life. You weren't designed to wake up every morning chasing goals that God never assigned to you. Alignment puts you on the frequency of heaven. It tunes your heart to the divine strategy God has already prepared for you. When you pray for alignment, you're asking God to recalibrate your thoughts. You're asking him to purge the clutter in your mind. You're surrendering your agenda and saying, Lord, your will, not mine. Because let's be real, some of the stress, some of the anxiety, some of the confusion you've been feeling, it's not the devil, it's misalignment. It's pursuing things that look good but aren't God. It's chasing money without purpose. It's chasing applause without assignment. It's saying yes to opportunities that don't match your calling. Alignment saves you from wasted seasons. It protects you from unnecessary detours. It keeps you from running after people, positions, and platforms that were never meant for you. When you're aligned with God's purpose, you don't force open doors. You walk through the ones God has already opened. You don't beg for opportunities. Opportunities come looking for you. You don't live in confusion. You move in clarity. Alignment isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about asking, Lord, what do you want me to focus on today? Who do you want me to serve? Where do you want me to serve? Where do you want me to serve? What conversation do you want me to have? And it's about checking your motives. Are you chasing that business deal because God told you to, or because you're trying to prove something to people who don't even matter? Are you saying yes to that project because it aligns with your calling, or because you're afraid of missing out? When you pray for alignment, you're inviting God to remove the distractions, to close the wrong doors, to end the wrong relationships, to redirect your energy toward things that actually produce fruit. Alignment brings peace. You don't wrestle with decision fatigue when you're aligned. You don't spend hours second guessing yourself when you're aligned. You wake up, you pray, you listen, and you move with confidence. Alignment gives you authority. When you're in alignment with heaven, your words carry weight. Your prayers hit different. Your actions produce results. Why? Because you're not speaking from insecurity, you're speaking from identity. You're not moving in fear, you're moving in faith. When your mindset is aligned with God's purpose, you start making decisions faster. You stop overthinking. You stop hesitating. You start entertaining doubt. You start recognizing that delayed obedience is still disobedience. And let's talk about obedience for a second, because alignment and obedience go hand in hand. God will not bless your plans if they're out of order with His. He loves you too much to let you prosper in disobedience. That's why some of you keep hitting walls. It's not punishment, it's protection. God is blocking what doesn't align. When you stay in alignment, you'll notice that favor flows effortlessly. The right people show up at the right time. Resources find you. Unexpected opportunities appear. Why? Because heaven responds to alignment. God funds His assignments. And let's not forget, alignment is a daily decision. It's not a one-time prayer. Every morning, you recalibrate. Every morning you check your spiritual compass. Every morning you say, God, not my will, but yours be done. Because here's what alignment produces. Results without burnout. Progress without pressure. Growth without grinding your soul to dust. It's not that life gets easier. It's that you get clearer. It's not that obstacles disappear. It's that you gain the wisdom and endurance to overcome them. Alignment attracts divine connections. People whose vision matches your vision. People who speak life into your assignment. People who accelerate your calling instead of draining your energy. When you're aligned, you're not competing, you're creating. You're not chasing, you're attracting. You're not surviving, you're thriving. You're walking in rooms with authority because you know who sent you there. Silence distractions, focus relentlessly on your assignment. Distraction is one of the enemy's most subtle and effective weapons. It doesn't always come dressed as sin. It often comes wrapped in busyness, in noise, in unnecessary conversations, in social media scrolls that steal your attention 1 minute at a time until your day is gone. Distraction looks harmless at first, but it will cost you your destiny if you don't take control. You weren't put here to do everything. You were put here to do the thing God called you to do. Your assignment is too important to waste on things that don't build you, things that don't grow you, and things that don't align with your purpose. Distraction doesn't always show up as something evil. Sometimes it shows up as good things that aren't God things. It looks like too many meetings. It looks like overcommitting. It looks like constantly saying yes to people who drain your energy but never pour back into you. If you're going to walk in power this day, you've got to silence the distractions. You've got to command your focus. Focus is your spiritual weapon. Focus turns small seeds into massive harvests. Focus turns ideas into income. Focus turns dreams into deliverables. When you wake up in the morning, the first prayer out of your mouth should be, Lord, help me protect my focus today. Help me recognize every distraction before it costs me my momentum. Because here's what's real. For every assignment God has for you, the enemy has a distraction designed just for you, custom made, tailored to your weakness, tailored to your curiosity, tailored to your triggers. And if you're not aware, you'll spend your day responding instead of producing. Some people wake up every day reacting to life. They answer every text the second it comes in. They jump on every phone call. They scroll for hours, watching other people live their lives while their own dreams die from neglect. You're not called to live like that. You're called to produce. You're called to build. You're called to create. You're called to move in divine authority. And that means protecting your time like it's treasure, because it is. time is your most valuable resource. You can make more money, you can build new relationships, but you cannot get back wasted time. Every minute spent in distraction is a minute stolen from your assignment. Distraction also shows up in the form of comparison. You get online and suddenly you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, and now you're discouraged. Now you're second guessing yourself. Now you're procrastinating because you feel like what you have isn't enough. Let me tell you something. You don't need to compare. Your assignment is unique. Your calling is tailored for you. Stay in your lane and run your race. Focus doesn't mean you ignore people. It means you prioritize your mission. It means you learn to say no without guilt. It means you create boundaries that protect your peace and your productivity. Some of you are one distraction away from missing your next breakthrough, one wrong conversation, one wasted day, one careless decision. So today, before the calls start coming in, before the texts start popping up, before the emails flood your inbox, you make a decision. This is my focus day. This is my productivity day. This is my no distraction, no nonsense, no time wasting day. You turn off notifications if you have to. You put your phone on do not disturb if you have to. You get off social media if you have to. You guard your time like your destiny depends on it, because it does. Because here's the truth. God will give you vision, but he won't manage your distractions for you. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's where discipline kicks in. That's where maturity shows up. Some breakthroughs don't require another prayer. They require more focus. Some blessings aren't delayed because God's saying no. They're delayed because you're too distracted to execute. The time for excuses is over. The time for emotional decision making is over. This is the season where you master your focus, where you show up for yourself, where you complete the assignment God placed in your hands. Focus is what separates wishful thinkers from powerful doers. Focus is what builds business. Focus is what grows ministries. Focus is what creates legacies. Today, you choose to silence every distraction and pursue your assignment with relentless, unstoppable, unshakable focus. Cover yourself with divine protection. No weapon formed shall prosper before you step out of your house, before you open your laptop, before you get behind the wheel of your car, before you enter any room, any meeting, any environment. You need to cover yourself in prayer for divine protection. This is not about fear. This is about wisdom. This is about understanding that there's a spiritual battle happening every single day. Battles you can't see with your natural eyes. Attacks forming in silence. Plans being plotted in the background. But the good news is this: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. God never said the weapon wouldn't form. He said they wouldn't prosper. That means the trap may get set, but it won't catch you. The attack may launch, but it won't land. The enemy may plot, but God already blocked it. Your job is to stay prayed up, to stay covered, to stay surrounded by the shield of faith and the armor of God. You need to wake up every morning and declare, Lord, I plead the blood of Jesus over my mind, over my body, over my family, over my business, over my finances, over my connections, over my health, over my home, over my transportation, over every place my feet will step today. You need to speak it loud. You need to speak it with authority, because here's the truth. Silence in the spiritual realm equals surrender. If you're not declaring protection, you're leaving yourself exposed. Cover your children before they leave the house. Cover your spouse. Cover your team. Cover your clients. Cover your projects. The enemy doesn't just attack randomly. He targets strategically. He goes after your weak points. He looks for open doors. He looks for areas where you've let your guard down. That's why you have to stay on watch. Stay spiritually alert. Be discerning. Everything that looks good isn't good. Every invitation isn't divine. Every opportunity isn't from God. You've got to pray for wisdom and protection from deception, because sometimes the biggest attacks don't come in the form of physical harm. They come through manipulation, through distraction, through wrong partnerships, through toxic connections that look like blessings but are actually setups. When you cover yourself in prayer, you're putting divine boundaries around your life. You're letting heaven know you're standing on the word. You're letting the enemy know you're not an easy target. You're declaring Psalm 91 over your life. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. You're standing on the promise that angels have been assigned to you, that they're going before you, that they're making crooked places straight. You're reminding yourself that God is your refuge, that He's your fortress, that no sickness, no accident, no spiritual attack, no demonic plot has the authority to touch your life without going through Him first. This is not the day to walk around uncovered. This is not the day to leave your spiritual armor hanging in the closet. You need your shield of faith up. You need your helmet of salvation on. You need your sword of the Spirit ready. Cover your mind, because sometimes the attack is mental. Negative thoughts, anxiety, depression, fear, doubt. Cover your emotions, because the enemy knows if he can get you offended, bitter, angry, or emotionally unstable, he can make you self-destruct. Cover your health. Declare healing, declare strength, declare that every cell in your body is functioning according to the divine blueprint God created. Cover your income streams. Speak protection over your resources. Rebuke every devourer. Cancel every financial sabotage. Declare increase. Declare provision. Declare that you'll never lack for anything because God is your source. Cover your future, even the things you don't see coming, even the things you haven't prayed about yet. Invite God to block what needs to be blocked and release what needs to be released. Speak over your day before the enemy does. Declare peace before chaos tries to creep in. Declare victory before battles even show up. Declare protection before danger even tries to arise. Because when you pray like this, when you cover yourself daily, when you stay under divine protection, you walk different. You move different. You operate in a boldness that confuses the enemy. You show up in rooms with a peace that surpasses understanding. You handle challenges with wisdom and authority. You become untouchable in the Spirit because you're covered by the blood, backed by the word, and surrounded by angelic armies. Step out in bold faith. Courage creates breakthroughs. There comes a point in every believer's life when faith has to shift from theory to action. It's not enough to pray about it, think about it, journal about it, or talk about it. There comes a day when you've got to step out in bold faith and move. You've got to take the risk. You've got to make the call. You've got to show up for the opportunity, even if your knees are shaking. God is not going to move for you while you sit in fear and hesitation. Bold faith is the bridge between your current situation and your breakthrough. Faith without works is dead. That means faith without action produces nothing. Some of you have been waiting for perfect conditions, waiting for a confirmation, waiting for all the signs to line up. But God is saying, move now. Because bold faith is not about waiting for comfort. It's about moving in obedience, even when it feels uncomfortable. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what God told you to do in spite of fear. It's stepping into the unknowing, knowing that you're not alone. It's trusting that if God called you to it, He will provide for it, protect it, and prosper it. You've got dreams you've been sitting on, ideas you've been delaying, conversations you've been avoiding, projects you've been putting off. It's not because you don't know what to do. It's because fear has been whispering lies to you. Lies like you're not ready. Lies like, what if you fail? Lies like, what will people think? Lies like, you're not qualified. But today, bold faith answers back. Bold faith says, God wouldn't have given me the vision if he didn't already give me the provision. Bold faith says, I may not know every step, but I know the one who orders my steps. Bold faith says, I'm moving forward and trusting that God will catch me if I stumble and strengthen me when I feel weak. When you operate in bold faith, you unlock doors that hesitation would have kept closed. Bold faith puts you in rooms where human qualifications don't even matter because God's favor speaks louder than your resume. This is the season where you stop playing small. This is the season where you stop shrinking to fit in. This is the season where you stop watering down your calling because you're afraid of making people uncomfortable. Bold faith looks like launching the business even if you're scared. It looks like applying for the job you think you're not qualified for. It looks like making the investment when you don't see all the returns yet. It looks like making the phone call you've been dreading. It looks like showing up and letting God do what only he can do through you. Faith is the currency of the kingdom. It's how we transact with heaven. It's how we pull unseen realities into visible manifestation. God doesn't reward hesitation. He rewards movement. He rewards obedience. He rewards action taken in faith. You don't need more time to prepare. You need more boldness to step. You don't need more confirmations. You need more courage to believe what God already said. Bold faith disrupts fear. Bold faith silences doubt. Bold faith confuses the enemy. Because when you move in faith, you shift the atmosphere. Stop asking God to show you the whole staircase when he's only giving you the next step. Take the step. Move your feet. Start the work. Make the call. Launch the product. Submit the application. Have the conversation. Sow the seed. Bold faith produces bold results. Expect divine opportunities. Doors are opening for you today. Divine opportunities don't show up by accident. They're attracted by preparation, obedience, and expectation. When you wake up with the mindset that God is about to do something new today, you position yourself to receive it. Some people walk through life expecting obstacles, expecting problems, expecting delays. But when you shift your mindset and start expecting favor, expecting acceleration, expecting divine connection, everything changes. God has doors with your name on them, rooms you didn't qualify for, conversations that will change your life, people you haven't met yet who will become divine connectors to your next level, resources that will find you at the right time. You don't have to chase opportunities. You align yourself with God and the opportunities will chase you. When you're in the flow of your purpose, divine opportunities start opening up that you didn't even know existed. You've got to wake up every morning and declare today is a day of divine appointments. Today is a day of supernatural favor. Today I walk into rooms I wasn't invited to but was destined for. Today, doors that were closed yesterday are opening wide for me. Some of the opportunities you've been praying for are already in motion behind the scenes. While you're sleeping, God is speaking to people about you. While you're working, God is positioning you for the right moments. But here's the key. You have to be ready when the opportunity shows up. Opportunity doesn't wait for you to get ready. It rewards those who stay ready. Stop saying one day and start preparing like today is the day. Get your resume updated. Get your business plan ready. Get your presentation polished. Get your elevator pitch practiced. Because when God says go, there's no time to hesitate. You also need to pray for discernment. Because not every open door is a God door. Some doors are distractions dressed as opportunities. Some connections are traps disguised as divine relationships. That's why you ask God every morning, Lord, make me sensitive to the right doors. Close every wrong one, even if I want it. Open the right ones, even if I feel unqualified. Divine opportunities aren't always wrapped in big dramatic moments. Sometimes they show up in quiet conversations, in chance encounters, in random emails, in a single phone call. Your responsibility is to stay expectant, to walk with your head up, to stay alert in your spirit, to believe that God is working even when you can't see it. Expect clients to call, expect emails with good news, expect promotions, expect new contracts, expect unexpected checks, expect strategic partnerships, expect sudden turnarounds, expect divine interruptions that redirect your life in the best possible way. Expectation is faith in action. It's waking up believing that today could be the day everything changes. It's showing up with excellence even when nobody's watching, because you know the right person might walk through the door at any moment. When you expect divine opportunities, you start speaking differently. You start preparing differently. You stop playing small. You stop settling. You start walking like someone who knows that favor is your portion. This is not the season to shrink back. This is the season to expect God to do what he promised. Expect overflow. Expect increase. Expect divine opportunities to show up and shift everything in your favor. Pray for overflow and impact. Become a blessing to others. This is the moment where your prayers shift from just asking God to bless you to asking him to make you a blessing. This is where your mindset shifts from survival to overflow, from barely getting by to walking in abundance. Because God didn't create you just to accumulate. He created you to distribute, to impact, to change lives, to pour out what he's poured into you. When you pray for overflow, you're not just asking for more money, more resources, more influence for your benefit. You're asking for the capacity to serve others on a higher level. You're saying, God, enlarge my territory, increase my influence, expand my reach, not for my glory, but for your kingdom. Overflow isn't about showing off. It's about showing up. It's about being the one who meets the need when others are struggling. It's about being the lender and not the borrower. It's about being the answer to someone else's prayer. You weren't called to live in lack. You weren't called to play small. You were called to walk in overflow, so your life becomes a testimony of what God can do with someone fully surrendered. When you pray for overflow and impact, you're giving God permission to stretch you, to trust you with more, to send resources through you, not just to you. You're saying, Lord, let my life be a river, not a reservoir. Let the blessings flow through me so I can lift others higher. You've just been handed the 7 spiritual weapons, 7 keys, 7 morning declarations that shift your life from average to extraordinary. You've been reminded to start your day with gratitude and unlock the flow of blessings. You've realigned your mind with God's purpose so you move in divine authority. You've silenced distractions because your focus is now relentless. You've covered yourself with divine protection because no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You've stepped into bold faith because courage creates breakthroughs. You've declared divine opportunities over your life because doors are opening for you today. And you've prayed for overflow and impact because you're not just here to receive, you're here to become a blessing to others. This is how kingdom people move. This is how world changers start their day. This is how you build momentum, attract favor, and walk in victory. Now listen, you've been poured into, you've been equipped, you've been challenged, and now it's your turn to respond. Don't just sit on this. Take what you just heard, declare it, live it, walk it out starting today. If this message hits your spirit, if you felt that kingdom fire stir inside you, here's what I want you to do. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let me know which prayer you're claiming today, and share this with someone who needs a spiritual wake-up call. And if you're serious about growing in faith, business, and kingdom impact, don't just watch from the sidelines. Join the inner circle. Click the link below and become part of the movement right here on the Myron Golden Track channel, because this is where kingdom builders grow. This is where legacy leaders are made. Let's keep it moving. Let's go and stay blessed.